it feeds my soul when I see folks in line and they are, they have their sample ballot in their hand and they're ready to go vote. It just fulfills a lot of those days of not sleeping, of worrying about not having that plan ready yet, and then finally having that plan ready. It's very fulfilling.
Words Matter with John Maurice.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Maurice, and welcome to my podcast, Words Matter with John Maurice. This week, we have an amazing guest. Number one, she is the Clark County's Electoral Department head, the head of it. Let's do that again. All right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Words Matter with John Maurice. I'm your host, John Maurice. Today's podcast is going to be amazing. This week, we have the actual head of the Clark County Electoral Department of voting. And she is also the first appointed Latino woman to ever be in this position in the state of Nevada. That's major. Also, she was the first person in 2002 to translate the voting registration, all of the information into Spanish. Please welcome to the show. She is such an amazing person. I am proud to call her a friend. I know her, Miss Lorena. I'm about to mess it up. Oh, all of that, and I messed it up.
So beautiful.
Portillo.
Yes.
I had it. It was like that. Sorry about that. Please welcome Miss Lorena Portillo. How are you?
Thank you so much, John, for the invitation. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad to have you here, but I just apologize for messing up the name. I'm like,
all right.
I'm debating if I should do it again, but people know that I'm human.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, not a problem. You said everything else perfectly.
Well, welcome. First,
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on becoming the first Latino or woman of, how would you say it, like Hispanic descent
Yes.
to the electoral department in the state of Nevada. That's major.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's a great honor to take on such an important role in Clark County. We are one of the biggest counties here in the state of Nevada. It's an important role, and I take it very seriously. So thank you.
Oh, of course. You're welcome. And I know you take it serious because you've been doing this a long time. We can talk about the election, all that stuff, but I want to talk about you. And just looking over, just knowing you and just knowing about the landmarks that you have made, your footprints are amazing. First of all, you started in 1998, right?
1998, yes.
With Clark County Electoral Department.
Yes.
How did you begin that process?
So I was, a young mom getting through junior college, and I needed a part-time job. And that's where it started. The first election I went through, I just fell in love. I fell in love with the process and the structure that we already had in the state of Nevada and what it signifies. Folks don't understand or do understand, everything we do is based on historic events. People died to vote. People fought to vote and for our freedom. And this is a democratic process that definitely just got in my blood, and I never looked back.
That's amazing. I started getting chills because we're still fighting for the vote and the right to vote.
Absolutely.
Wow, that was a lot. I was going to say, you said when you first started, who was the first, the voting that you were able to do?
Well, the first, in 1998, it was the governor's race. It was governor, congressional, it was all the federal and state offices. So it wasn't the presidential so much, but it was a busy election. We had already started early voting. It was the second year of early voting here in the state of Nevada. So it was growing. Back then, there was over 460,000 registered voters. Now we have over 1.3 million. So it's definitely a big difference from when I started.
Yeah. And you said in 98, that was only the second time for Mellon
No, actually, in '98 we had the governor's race, so it's the federal and state election cycle. It wasn't the presidential, but in 2000 I definitely got my first taste of a presidential, and it made a difference in my life because we started to present elections in English and in Spanish, and in 2002 it was federally required, and we started conducting in English and Spanish all our election materials, on the voting machine. Sample ballots, everything that we are required in English, we did in Spanish, and I was part of that. I had two phones in my ear, and one in English and one in Spanish, so it was definitely an experience, and I was very proud to be there.
Okay. Wow. So you were the person to help translate all of it into Spanish.
Yes.
Were you like the person to implemented to say we need to have this in Spanish for people who may not read English?
So the census dictates what we do in the languages that we do our elections in. Currently, we have English, Spanish, and Tagalog, and that's mandated by the Department of Justice. And at that time, and we continue to have that requirement. If there's over 10,000 minority group that are not proficient in the English language, we will conduct the elections in that language. So usually it's every 10 years.
Okay, that's good. Now, I'm here. I want to seem like, I understand. I'm smart, but you are. Yes, I am, but I don't know everything. I don't want to just brush over the word. You said English, Spanish, and
Tagalog. So it's Filipino.
Tagalog. Okay.
Yes, Filipino. Tagalog is a dialect of Filipino.
Okay. All right. I just wanted. I know people may watch it and be like, "What is that?"
Right. No.
So
yes.
I want to just stop and because
okay.
a lot of times you have people who are very educated and they talk and they know and everything, but I want to make sure that we fully understand.
Absolutely.
So that we can be intentional with what we want to do and make our choices and decisions. So, but if we don't understand, how can you make an intelligent decision?
I agree.
I just wanted to get that. Now I know. Okay, that's Filipino dialect. Okay. And they started that in 2002?
It was official in 2002. In 2000, we piloted a hotline, and that's where I was talking about having two phones in my ear. It really worked. Folks need that assistance, and the Spanish hotline is definitely used very efficiently, and voters are able to ask questions in their language.
Okay. Why do you think it took so long? 2002. I can remember 2002. I'm just thinking, why wasn't it like the 80s or the 90s or something or the 70s? Why didn't? Well, the 70s, that's going too far back. Black people just started to vote in the 60s.
And that's a good point, because this all stemmed from the Voters' Right Act that was enacted in 1965. And later on, there was added the section about, adding the languages when there's, English language proficiency. And it all depends on the census. So census data has to come back determining that, yes, there's more than 10,000 in that jurisdiction that are not English proficient. And therefore, we get that data from the Department of Justice after the census. So a lot of folks think that we just do it on the fly, and we don't. We really wait for our legislative body to dictate that, or state law that can dictate that as well.
Okay, and they do the census by going
Every
door to
10
door,
years.
door to door and all of that.
Door to door. That's why it's so important when folks are asked, what's your first language? It's definitely important for folks to put, if it's not English, put Spanish, or don't be afraid to put your, what language you're most proficient in.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so now just going back a little bit to the prequel, you grew up here in Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's weird to see someone who actually, so many people live here, but to meet someone who actually was born and raised in Las Vegas.
Yes.
What was that like? I know it's changed dramatically.
Tremendously.
And tremendously.
Yes. I would say, you used to be able to get everywhere in 10 minutes.
Really?
Yes. That doesn't happen anymore. You have traffic. And so it was a different atmosphere. The of course, the growth was it exploded in the 90s. I remember that. I grew up in the east side of Las Vegas, that is Eastern and Bonanza area. The diversity wasn't really there yet, but it was getting there. It was getting there. I definitely didn't have the luxury to speak my language at school. I would literally get in trouble if I spoke Spanish.
Really? Trouble how? Like,
You would get to go to the dean's office because you're not supposed to, at that time, speak a different language. You had to speak English. And so
wow. Okay.
I was scolded at one time in high school. I remember, our culture, we have quinceañeras, and I was, planning the quinceañeras with my friends, and there's certain words that you can't say in English, and so you would say them in Spanish. And one teacher says, "Hey, if you speak that again, you're going to the dean's office." So things have changed. I visited some high schools. I see the diversity. I see, just so much use of technology. It's wonderful to see how things have changed. The growth is tremendous. You don't get to work and back in 10 minutes, but that's okay. That's okay. We love to see that, its economic growth has, definitely been positive. It's been very positive. So I'm happy. I'm happy to continue to be here.
Yeah, I love it here. I've been here 4.5 years, and I see how it's just changed and grown. When I first moved here, December 2018, but in 2019, I'm driving around the 15 or 95. It wasn't as packed as it is today. And then after COVID, it just seemed like when everything was closed, when it opened back up,
Right.
rush hour, it's like a parking lot on the 50. I'm like, what is happening?
Yes.
So I avoid those now, but I was just like, wow, I couldn't understand or believe how quickly it grew.
Absolutely. I remember Jones being like the final frontier, Cheyenne being just one street, and it was just, where you go take your garbage to, Republic Services. I remember that.
Really? Jones?
Yeah, Jones and Cheyenne was like way far away. Mm-hmm. Oh, Mount Charleston was like, wow, it just seemed so far away. And now
Was there Red Rock?
there was Red Rock. There was nothing.
I mean, the
compared to
hotel and
what-
casino.
No.
Oh, that wasn't. You got, of course, the mountains,
Right.
but
No.
none of that was there.
None of that. You would just go straight up Charleston, and it would take, it felt like forever.
Wow. I can't even. What year is this?
I was born in 1974. So
Okay.
70s, 80s, it was still small. In the 90s, it's when, late 80s and 90s, it started growing significantly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so saw a lot of transition, and Lake Mead not having a lot of water now.
Actually, yeah, I was just talking about that. I think a few months back there was the big winter storm and all that snow, and we have all that water. I thought that I don't know.
It's
I don't wanna
encouraging
sound-
now that there was a lot of, the snow definitely.
Did
is
that water
encouraging.
trickle down, or is it still low?
Yeah,
Lake Mead is still low.
I don't know for sure, but I know it's promising to the fact that it did, increase
Right.
as far as the water line. So I'm very hopeful that it'll stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been raining more than before. So
Yeah, actually, when I first moved here, it was like we went 270 days without rain. And I was just like, yes, But when I first moved here, I didn't know that it snowed in Vegas.
yes.
Or it got cold. I was coming from Florida.
Oh
So
wow!
I didn't
Sunny
have
always.
I didn't have any winter clothes. When I got here, I was like, what is going on? And but I was just like, okay, I could deal with a little cold. I was born and raised at Jersey Shore. So I didn't want the snow.
No.
That's why I moved to Florida. And then I thought, I'm going to go someplace hot. I'm going to go to Vegas. And that first February, it snowed. I was like, oh,
I can't get away.
yeah, I left the sunshine for this. But how do you think the school systems are now?
It's grown so much. It is, as I'm sure it's a challenge for the superintendents, for the teachers. As long as our state officials continue to give them the support, I know the programs that have been in place are much more. There's so much more than there was before. I can tell there's magnet schools, there's charter schools, there's, for the gifted, there's definitely a diversity, and that definitely was needed here in Clark County.
Yeah, I have a friend. I had the opportunity to go and actually talk to the high school students about manifesting their dreams and going after their purpose. And that was just amazing to know that they have these programs for the students. They have yoga and meditation. I'm just like, wow, if I had that stuff when I was in school, imagine learning all of this 20, 30 years ago. How amazing is that? So I love the things that are in place here in Nevada, and very encouraged by it. You don't think about these things. Most people think Vegas is just the strip, and you come and you gamble. But as more people are coming in, especially from California, I'm seeing more doctors are starting to come, and educators. So I'm just like, wow, I better go ahead and purchase a house really quick, because everything is growing so quickly.
Studios are popping up too, like movie studios and stuff are going to be opening up here soon.
Yeah.
High diversity of businesses, absolutely.
And the big thing, Mark Wahlberg, he moved here as in Summerlin. They're talking about making Vegas the next 2.0. I'm just, how did that, in a blink of an eye? Yeah.
Yes. I remember the saying back then, who wants a piece of the desert? Well, now everybody. Now everybody does, yes.
with sports teams and everything else, I'm just
the Super Bowl is coming in 2024.
That's right.
Yes. Formula One in November.
Yes.
And then the biggest election cycle we've ever had in 2024 as well. So there's many exciting things happening.
Now, I want to get to the electional part. How I couldn't believe that is such a long process. Like the election, we know about it a few months out. Everybody. When do we start doing our voting? It's like 2 weeks out or a week out, or.
So what a lot of folks don't know, for example, this year, the public thinks that it's an off year. There's no such thing for our department. We are very much strategizing, setting timelines. We're updating equipment, software, testing equipment and software, certifying equipment and software. So it's nonstop planning
all
year. And because it's a big event, it's 3 huge events that we have to have conducted perfectly. And so our systems have to be in check, upgraded, and tested and tested and tested. Therefore, the actual hiring of not permanent, but temporary staff, it's not all at once. We, have to hire by phases. We have recruiters coming. We have trainers coming. So we have a small staff of 37 permanent employees, and with the contractors, maybe 40 total. In 98, we had 42. Now we only have 40, and hopefully we'll receive some more staffing. So we hire poll workers over 3,000. We have to train them and hire them and assign them. And then in-house, we have a bit over 200 in-house that we expand to. So it's a great feat. We cannot do that in a month or 2 months. As soon as January 17th hit, we were hitting it hard. We were immediately, even before then, we're implementing a brand new voter database, which is, the one that we had is 20 years old. So it was a long time coming. It would, bring so much more efficiencies. We continually have to innovate. Nothing's ever where we want it to be. We have to always be our election imagineering at every time we have an opportunity, and this is the year that we have it. Legislative changes may have come. I will be checking that when I get back to the office tomorrow. And so we might have some things that are new, and we have to update and measure the impact of what we already do in the processes. So there's plenty to keep us busy.
Wow. That's and you are in charge of all of that. How do you keep your sanity? Because that's a lot.
You keep calm and carry on, and you plan. So the key is planning. And I truly believe the only time I worry is if we don't plan. And so if we plan correctly, and that's where 25 years of experience really comes into play. If you know what is coming up, you know how to plan.
Okay.
And you know how to help your staff plan and develop them professionally. And as a leader, you develop additional leaders. You know, we all have to step up to the plate during election season, and therefore we give them that courage. We, help them, with customer service. We provide as much training as possible professionally, in-house. We send them to seminars, webinars. We want them to be as strong, as courageous as, their leader, and not just because you've been there 25 years. You can do that in a matter of time, even less than a year, if you really want to, and you receive the training that you need.
You can learn all the training in less than a year.
You can learn it in one election cycle. And in a presidential cycle, it's perfect because you have every scenario under the sun that will come your way, and you will learn from that. You will learn before the election cycle and during. So you never stop learning. Even after 25 years, you never stop learning. I think that's why I love it so much. It's never boring. It's never boring.
Now, is it hard when you learn something new to forget the old?
No, because historical knowledge is important. You have to know, it's important to know how to do your job, but why? Why? What NRS, what statute is related to that? You have to know why it's done. You just can't change things ad hoc. You have to know, okay, this process relates to these statutes, these regulations, these policies, these procedures. Why was it implemented this way? This is why. So historical knowledge is very important.
And so do you help in the process of making those decisions?
Yes, I make them all.
You make them all?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I make them all in collaboration with
Right.
county management, commissioners, and the Secretary of State, because the Secretary of State is our chief election officer.
How much time does it take to collaborate with everyone and then go through these things and break it down? Because that's a big thing to implement a new change in the whole cycle of everything, and to take one thing out to make that process say, okay, this, like, for instance, give us an example of something you would take out and then you would change for the better.
So we have an old system. It has to do at least what we have implemented at 20 years ago and updated past that date until now. We have to have at least that and some. So we evaluate that. We started in 2021 to evaluate all the requirements and all the data transferring, all the conversion that we had to do. So it takes a while. And then we had to go through the election, 2022, and then we started right back up after Christmas or during Christmas time, actually in December.
Wow.
So you don't stop. You have to help your staff, keep the focus, keep them motivated. Sometimes you're tired, exhausted, burnt out, but you have to keep your eye on the goal, on the mission. We have a mission, and we don't have time to fail.
Wow, that's amazing. You don't have time to fail, but it's also in the planning. And people must know that if you don't have a plan, then you plan to fail because you don't understand all of the things that's intricate that's going to make it happen. Amazing.
Yes,
Amazing.
we look back. We look back at every election. We have an election program management system. We look back at everything we do. We go through worst case scenario. We play devil's advocate. We are. We think of it as war. Election day is war day, right? You prepare for the worst and hope for the best, and you have to just think of every scenario that can go wrong. Contingency, we contingency plan. How about if we lose electricity at a site, what do you do? We do this or that. We have plans in place. We have good collaboration with all officials in law enforcement, federal, state, and local. We plan on that. Cybersecurity, we have in-house staff. We have outside sources that help us with ensuring that our software, our equipment is secure. So it's continuously ongoing because we're critical infrastructure. So Department of Homeland Security is also involved.
Wow. Okay. Most people have no clue that all of this is going on. How many sites are there in the state of Nevada? I guess every, or in Clark County, Henderson, Summerlin, Las Vegas. And so there's different polls.
Yes.
And you're in charge of every station to know what's going on. And how is that? Well, you have the two phones.
Yes. And I actually do. Yes.
Wow. So how many stations throughout Clark County for voting?
Yes. So we have a good blueprint currently for a regular election cycle. For a 14-day early voting period, we have 30 to 35 sites per day during the 14 days, every single day, straight through holidays and on the weekends. So we're available. It's a very convenient way to get to the polling place if that's the way the voter wants to vote. Some folks want to vote by mail. Sometimes they use our polling place sites to turn in their mail ballot, which they can do. So we have all those sites. It's convenient to them, and they can go there. Or there's folks that want to go on election day. It's on a Tuesday. It's always on a Tuesday. And we have 128 sites where folks
on
can...
election day.
On election day,
Wow.
where you can go in person and vote or drop off your mail ballot. Or just vote by mail. You all active registered voters will continue to receive a mail ballot unless you opt out 60 days prior to the election. Some folks are like, no, I do not want to vote by mail. I don't want my mail ballot packet. Don't send it. That's absolutely fine. As long as they tell us 60 days prior to the election, we can do that for them.
Okay. But even having the option of having it there and you can look it over and have your time to read and then fill it out and then go to the actual ballot and drop it off. That's another option. That's really good. I am disappointed to say that I didn't vote. I'm registered.
Oh, well, that's a start.
I'm a registered
congratulations,
voter.
yes.
But actually, I just got busy
it happens.
on that day. I was like, oh, I'm going to go on that day. And then just so much stuff happened. And it was just like...
And that's, it's your right to vote. It's not something that's required.
Right.
It's
I should vote. I have voted, and I need to get back to it. But I didn't vote for the Nevada, the governor and all that stuff. I just didn't know, being new to here, I didn't know who to vote for or who was who. So I was just like, I'll wait for the presidential. But do you? I guess it does. It matters even in the local election, not just the presidential, for your governor and mayor and all of that stuff.
Clark County has a loud voice. We are the most populous county in the state of Nevada, so we definitely have a huge amount of voters that actually predict the outcome of an election. If they all participate, it can make a tremendous difference on who wins and who doesn't. So it's important for everyone in the community to realize that this is a process for them. We administer, we make sure the accessibility, the integrity election is in place. And all we want is for voters to go register and to vote. And we try to make it as easy as possible, as simple as possible. Because if I didn't work where I work, I just put myself in the voter's shoes. What am I going to know? I'm not going to know everything like I know. So I do try to make it as simple as possible for them to understand. We're going to be promoting a voter outreach plan, and hopefully it'll come as soon as August, September. Okay. So folks understand what's coming, what's new in Nevada. That's one of the big things that we put on our website, for example. But not everybody knows who we are and what we do. We conduct all the elections for the cities. We conduct the elections for the rural areas. And a lot of folks don't know that, all the cities. And Clark County is huge. It's the size of New Jersey. So
Really?
it encompasses like 8,000 square miles of territory.
Clark County.
Yes. Yes.
You know, wow. I actually thought I thought Clark County was just Henderson, Las Vegas, and Summerlin, like the end of Red Rock to like Boulder Highway to I don't even know, maybe the M Hotel to the 215-95 where Summerlin is in Centennial Hills. I thought like that was it.
Yeah, no, there's
Besides
rural
New
areas.
Jersey.
So all the way to Mesquite, Laughlin, Searchlight.
Laughlin is Clark County. Wow. Okay.
And that's pretty far away. Boulder
Yeah.
City, Henderson, North Las Vegas, Mesquite also, and all the rural areas. I never knew where Bunkerville was, Moapa Valley, and I certainly know now. We have the Moapa Tribal Administration, and the Paiute Tribal Nation lives, and we're out there as well.
Really?
Yes,
I
absolutely.
would love to go see. Can anyone just go there and see it? Or
We're there on election day, and that's their preference. We let them decide where they want us and what day they want us there, and they usually like us to be there on election day. I just talked to them not too long ago. They were very happy with our services, which I'm very happy to hear, and we'll continue to work with them. And also we have Sandy Valley, Indian Springs. There's so many rural areas that a lot of folks don't know about.
yeah, I didn't know.
Logandale.
So that's encouraging. I was just like thinking about like trying to buy a house and where to go, and I was like, man, I wanted to buy one here. Maybe I'm gonna have to leave Clark County. No, I really don't.
And no, it's a huge area, and there's unincorporated areas which are not on the city limits, but they still have, for example, the Las Vegas address. It'll say Las Vegas, Nevada, but you're really in unincorporated Clark County. So that's another unique, difference here in Clark County.
But that's positive because as the city builds and it grows, expands outward, they still can have that Las Vegas kind of
absolutely.
address. So, and you're just further away from the strip.
Yeah.
But that's actually pretty cool. I didn't know that. Wow. All right. I actually had another question, but it popped out of my head when I found out that Clark County was the size of New Jersey. Wow. I hope you guys are watching and paying attention. I'm learning so much. I know they're learning too.
That's great. I'm glad.
So now, what's the next step for you? This is such a huge honor.
Yes.
And to be the head. Is there another step after this, or do you think you want to retire here, or like what do you want to do?
I definitely want to continue at the Clark County Election Department. It's my passion. I have a team of folks that share that passion of the democratic process, and they understand how delicate it is, and they want to be part of the team for many, many years. And I'm there dedicated to them, to the voters. And I continue to have a lot of energy still to do that. And therefore, I don't want to, at this moment, I don't have another agenda. I want Clark County Election Department to continue to be the very best in the nation. We are recognized nationwide, and we want to stay there, and we want to continue to help other jurisdictions understand, the way we do things. It may not be the best, but it definitely helps them understand how else we can do things better. And we're part of, national alliance groups that work with other jurisdictions that are looking for a better way to conduct elections. And we have supportive commissioners, county management they've given us so many resources to ensure that we're successful. And we hope that encourages other jurisdictions, to talk to their commissioners, to talk to their council, and allow them to be successful as well. So we hope not only our success, but statewide success. We work with our own other counties. We're 17 counties here in the state of Nevada that we work with. Currently, we're working with the Secretary of State's office to implement a statewide voter registration system, which will help share information That way, we have more real-time data, more reports that are a bit more accurate and faster. It'll help us with the reconciliation process. So many things that we still have to do. There's no time to think of retirement. There's no time to think of any other agenda, but the mission is to make 2024 a very successful year.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Just the thought process and to see the passion looking in your eyes and seeing the passion that you have for this. That's just amazing. Okay. All right. So if somebody is not registered and they want to go register, where do they go?
Great question. That's the number one question. There's many ways. So the easiest and most convenient way, if you have a driver's license or ID, it's best to go on the Secretary of State's website. You can register online in the convenience of your home.
Oh, wow.
That is
Okay.
the absolute best way. I recommend that 110% over any other way. However, there's also a paper application that you can fill out. We could actually, I could hand deliver one to you, but I could also mail one to you, and you can mail it back. There's, the city clerk's offices that have them available all the time. So there's many ways to do it. At the DMV, if you change your information or you get a new ID, if you don't opt out to register, you will be opted in to register, and we will get that information.
So you just sign it at the DMV, or when they have your information, they'll just put it in?
Yes. So you, as long as you don't opt out, they will send your information. Let's say you change your address. That is excellent, because we used to have so many addresses that were not correct because we couldn't get that information. And thanks to a statewide ballot question that voters voted on, they voted yes. And so that process came into law, and it is a tremendous help.
It just makes it so much easier.
Yes.
Because once you change your address, because everybody's going to change their driver's license or ID,
right,
automatically it's done. You don't have to do anything. So
yes.
That's great.
Yes, it is. And it's, it's real time. It's real time, or almost real time.
Wow. Okay. Now, I would like to go back a little bit. The person that you studied under, and I know that you have great love for them, and they have great love for you, because I think they referred you for the position. Who was that?
So it started with, Elsa Garcia was my first supervisor, which she was a tremendous mentor. And of course, the previous registrar, Joe Gloria, and the one before that, Larry Lomax, they were a tremendous, part of my life. They, one was, a mother figure, one was a father figure, one was a big brother figure, but also tremendous leadership that I was able to learn from them, and from their wonderful skills that they had already, but also learned throughout their time there. And I just can't thank them enough. From one of them, I won't say who, I received a Christmas card and said, "I heard Joe is retiring. You better go for it." So definitely encouraged, and I took it to heart, because sometimes you have to believe in the people you trust before you believe in yourself. And so I do. I trust them, and I went for it.
And they trusted you.
Yes.
Had you not gotten that card, would you have gone for it?
Oh, yes, I would have.
Okay.
I would have.
That was just the confirmation.
That was just
and
confirmation.
And the push to say, you got this.
Absolutely, because I felt confident that I wouldn't have gone for the position if I did not feel I was going to benefit the department, if I was not going to help the department be stronger and be able to develop additional leadership. We need to continue to develop leadership every year, because one day, I'll retire, others will retire. There's many that have been there 20 plus years. And so I am very well aware of that this might be their last election, in 2024. So we are vigorously, getting that professional training in, and local, and sending them away to make sure they learn and they immerse themselves in what an election leader should be doing.
Okay. That's listening to you say that, that's a lost skill that most people don't use anymore. When you said what you said, you went for it because you know that you can, that the department would benefit from what you bring to the table. Most people go for stuff so that they can benefit, but you are selfless in your service to help, and that's just amazing. I just wanted to just stop there and not just gloss over that, because
Thank you.
just words matter, and to know your intentions, to know that you shoot for excellence and that you always are giving and so loving, but so that everybody else will know that what kind of person you are, and you want to make sure that everything benefits, from your knowledge. We are indebted to you and say thank you for just being selfless and providing the best so that we could have a great way to give our vote.
Yes.
And have it matter. So
It feeds our soul. It feeds my soul when I see folks in line and they are, they have their sample ballot in their hand and they're ready to go vote. It just fulfills a lot of those days of not sleeping, of worrying about not having that plan ready yet, and then finally having that plan ready. It's very fulfilling. It's very satisfactory. There are always instances where folks may not be 100% happy or satisfied, but we're there for them. We want to answer those questions. We want to figure things out ahead of time. So we invite folks to ask those questions ahead of time and get all the information that they need to feel comfortable and feel that, this is something that I'm going to go do, and I feel confident in the process.
Okay. Now I have a question for you, because so many things are running through my mind as I'm paying attention to you. But just your heart and your spirit, do you think that you said this is so fulfilling? Do you think this is part of your purpose?
I think so. I really do.
Right.
I really do. I think that, everyone has their purpose.
Right.
And
what
why
I'm
I was
getting at.
lined up, I will never know. I will never know, but I do feel that the day that I told my team I received the confirmation that I got the job. I don't see it as a job. I see it as the process. I saw the relief in their eyes, and that just reconfirmed, you did the right thing. And so if they're relieved, I'm relieved for them. Because how selfish I would be to say, no, I don't want those headaches. I don't want those sleepless nights. I don't want, to worry. I can do it, though. I can help them. And if I didn't do it, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be something that's satisfactory to me. That's not why I do things. I either do it all the way or I don't do it at all.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that is definitely amazing. Okay, I know that we're about. I don't want to take all of your time, and I have so many questions.
No,
but
go ahead, John.
I just wanted to kind of begin to wrap it up. Matt, did you? What time were we at?
45.
That's it? Okay. How are you? Are you okay
I'm
with
good.
everything?
Yeah, so far so good.
All right.
Thank you.
So now I'm trying to figure out how to position this question. I'm having a brain freeze right now.
No
It
worries.
This is the first time on Words Matter that I'm trying to really take great use of this time to sit here and ask you these questions that I know that people are going to want to ask or are thinking at home. Well, let's just go back. We know about the electoral vote. You talked about all of that stuff. With you growing up, it was rough, and you talked about the school and the gangs and all of that stuff. How did you, or what was your process of getting out of that to be where you are in this journey? How did you do that?
My parents were very instrumental in my life, and they're my heroes. They really They gave me what's most important, just work ethic. And they always told me, you got to go to school, you got to study. That's the way to, get what you want in life and, have a happy life. And even though, I didn't have the private school, the, Ivy League school, I always was very, how could I say, I knew the importance of education, no matter how it came, no matter if it was high level, low level, whatever level it was, whether I was in the honor society or not, or in advanced classes, I valued that. So you always have to be grateful, whether, it's Ivy League or not. I was very grateful. I was grateful to be able to do what I'd done and did during the time I went to school here in Las Vegas. But also, one part that a lot of folks don't know, I moved to Mexico during my sophomore year.
Okay.
And I didn't know the language like I know it now. I had to go to night classes. Otherwise,
Really?
Because there's no, second language courses like there is here. There's English as a second language here in the States, but not in Mexico. You either learn it or you don't go to school. And I had to start at the basics, my ABCs. I did not know my ABCs in Spanish. So I took many, many classes to increase the level of my grammatics in Spanish, which really helped me in what I do today. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Without me even knowing, So it was a change. It was culture, but it helped me appreciate my roots. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but growing up in your house, did you speak English or Spanish?
I was more of the English speaker.
Oh, wow.
Even though my parents spoke to me in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And if they wanted me to, if they didn't want to provide something to me, like a toy, they'd say it in Spanish, and I'd say, forget it. But I was the one that had less proficiency in Spanish. And my eldest had the best. But when I went to Mexico, that's when I learned
Things
it.
changed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow. It's funny to look back and see the process and how it all came about. Now, how was that? You wanted to go, you were already in your sophomore year of school, and to not be able to just dive right back in where you are, but to have to start because you cannot do school unless you are proficient in Spanish. How long did it take you to?
So I had to do a whole year over. It was a lost year. And so I had to just go to school, and they called it just hearing and seeing the actual, teacher teach. There was a lot of information I did not understand, but by the end of the year, I was actually, after a month, I was really proficient because there's no other language that's spoken there. So you have to learn.
Actually, I'm trying to learn Spanish now. I was taking classes I was taking 4 classes a week for about maybe about 2 months. And I took a small little break, and I'm loving this break. The break is lasting longer than what I want it to be. And actually, I'm getting ready to go to Colombia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in 1 month, actually. And I'm like, oh, Lord, I need to learn how to speak Spanish, I'm going to meet my in-laws.
Oh, yes. That's exciting. That's exciting.
It's exciting.
And scary, but exciting.
But at the same time, I'm like, all I can say is, hola, ¿cómo está? And then smile.
They'll appreciate that, I'm sure.
But I've been saying that for the last year and a half on video chat, so I'm trying to
So
learn.
when they say, bien, ¿y tú? Bien.
Yeah. See,
keep it simple.
I know.
Keep it simple.
I know. And learning this, I had to learn the alphabet and the sounds and doing all of this stuff. I think I know more than what I think I know. And then when I go into it, but how did you?
And you can't be afraid. So that was one of the difficulties and challenges I had. I said everything with an accent, and I was made fun of. And so I had to push through that and not let that hold me down. I said, no, I'm going to own this language. It is going to be mine, and I will learn it. And I I was made fun of. I was teased, but
In Mexico.
yeah.
Wow.
yeah, but it was a small town. Everybody knew everybody, and I was the alien. Literally, that's what I was called, an alien. And I laughed it off, and I just said, I know what I need to do. So ever since I was young, I was very determined. I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all the way.
I got it.
So I think that's important. Never lose track of that goal. You will have a lot of detours, but never lose track on that goal. And that's the way it is.
That's the hardest part,
Yeah.
because when you want to do it and you're trying to focus on it, but when life gets hard and things happen and there's detours, you just want to say, man, I forget this. I don't want to do it. But that something inside of you just keeps, that furnace kicks on and you still keep
absolutely.
moving forward.
Keep motivated. That's the hardest part, It's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. It truly is. It's just not a cliche. It's something that I believe as a leader, it's helped me very much, very much. So
I heard you say before, gratitude. Lord have mercy.
Yes.
You turned your phone on. Mine was on vibrate. I was like, please, not now. Being determined, and you talked about that messed up my train of thought.
The
real quick.
gratefulness, yes.
Yeah, the gratefulness. I hate when that happens.
It's
It's
okay.
just like
It's okay.
you have the gratefulness. You were going through this. Has there ever been a time? I know you said that you pushed through. Have you ever wanted to quit?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it was that mindset when you
It's
talked
that
about the mindset. What is I'm understanding, I know, but I also want to explain for people who may not, what is the mindset? They may not know the right thing. Sometimes you can have the right energy, but the wrong focus. So what was that mindset?
Yes.
I know stay determined and all that, but what did you tell yourself to will yourself to keep going?
It's one of those things. What would I tell my 8-year-old self? I want to define myself. I wanted to, as I was growing up, just trying to define oneself. As when we're young, that's what we're trying to really do. We might, have several detours, distractions. Sometimes there's trouble we get into unnecessarily. But you have to continue to try to define yourself, not let so much others define you. And that's the most difficult part about being young. But what others can do for you is provide very valuable experiences. You only have one lifetime to learn from your experience. That's not a lot of time.
Right.
So what I did is, I said, I'm going to propose something to myself. I'm going to learn from other people's experiences because I don't have time to learn them on my own and get this right. So I learned valuable experiences. I learned to pinpoint them. I started paying attention. I started learning from folks that have succeeded, but also have the same motivation I do. Just keep redirecting. It's kind of like that GPS. You turn this way, you turn that way. It keeps rerouting you.
Right.
Just reroute yourself. Just keep on having that mindset. What is it for you? What's the definition for you? For me, it's strength, it's motivation, and helping others. That is the most important piece for me. That keeps my mindset where it is now, determined and motivated, and have lots of energy because folks need that. Folks need the positiveness, even
Especially
the day
now.
Absolutely, and. I don't take things to work. That's not something that it's part of being a professional.
Yeah, that's a gift.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I can do that.
Yes. And it's part of defining. So I wanted to be that professional. I wanted to be, did I know how right away? No. But I was willing to read books. Back then, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have all the social media. We really had to learn it the hard way. And my YouTube video was experiences that other folks had. And I would listen to folks that were moms, that were grandmas, or, fathers, professionals, doctors, anything and everything I can listen to that brought value to my life and just continued to motivate me. I would read books like crazy back then when books were, read, not audible books like there are now, which I love it. I love it.
Right.
So I think we can't stop with building our definition. You do not stop. Otherwise, you don't evolve and you don't help others evolve. So I find value in that. Find your values and define yourself.
I like that. Find your values and define yourself. Because I'm always constantly doing that and trying to evolve to get where am I going. So that's a helpful piece. And you were actually very smart by paying attention to others' experiences so that you don't have to make those same mistakes and choices.
I made my own.
Right.
I made my own, but
we all do.
It's helpful when you listen to others. And parents try to tell their kids that, when I did this, it didn't go really well, but parents are different. When you're 16, 17, to an adult, it's different than to a teenager, right?
Our perspective is different.
Yes.
And we don't understand. And sometimes it's like you don't figure it out until you get a little bit older and wiser and go through some things and it change the trajectory of how you think and what you do. That words matter.
Yes.
Yes. I didn't think that way 20 years ago.
No.
Even 10 years ago. But you go through some things and you get those scrapes and bruises and losses, then you realize, wow, okay, watch what you say because words do matter. That's actually how it came about from losing everything.
And to yourself.
Yeah.
The words do matter because you have to talk sometimes to yourself and say, it's going to be okay.
And encourage yourself and calm down.
Yes.
Now I'm actually very intentional on everything, on what I say, who I'm around, the music I listen to. I'm always creating my atmosphere because I know I have more time behind me than in front of me. So I want to be intentional how I live out the rest. And I just only want to project love and positivity and peace, and it's not about the things anymore. Before, when I was younger, it's about, balling and getting rich and having all of these things. But the perspective when you get older and if you have it and then lose it, and then you start to realize that it's about the experiences. It's about the journey. It's not once you get to your goal, you're there for a minute and then you're like, okay, what's next? And then everything that you learn along that journey, you take with you and you grow in that perspective. You can see things a little bit further. If you see a turtle on a fence, it didn't get there. So when we're younger, we just think it's our way and we can just run through it and do it. And that's how we make a lot of mistakes. But look at you now. You didn't make as many mistakes because you paid attention. And that's a gift. That's why they call each day a present. Be present in the moment because it is a gift and you'll never get that back. So
and hone into your gifts. Really, even though you're defining yourself, everyone has a gift. And I love to teach. I love to hear others and help others. So I hone into that. A lot of that has to do with the leadership role that I have.
Now, how does it work when you want to share your gift or even trying to find people to share that gift with? I mean, I thought my life was going to be different, by far. And now I think I've kind of found my voice even in talking and sharing with people. I'm always talking, and everybody I'm with, I always try to allow them to create the atmosphere they want because you want them to be comfortable in their skin and be authentically themselves, but also just feel the love and warmth around them. How do you go about with your gift and the purpose and trying to fulfill your dreams? Share that through your day-to-day.
Listening. So you listen to folks that have needs, for example, even it starts at home, right? It starts at home. You start developing that with kids, with, in my case, my husband, I mean, your dad, your mom. You begin to listen to the needs and, realize, how can I really help them? Maybe I can't help them 100%. And you have to be okay with that. Because then you're giving opinions that really won't help a person. You have to help them develop themselves. So there has to be conversations. In the office, I love to listen, and I give them my 100% attention. I can have 100 emails I still have to go through, but you really, as a leader, they have to feel that you are giving them the full attention. And I do. I actually honestly love to do that. I love to do that because in the end, if they're successful, I'm successful, and vice versa.
Right.
We're a team, and I'm not just there for me. And I don't say that to get any applause. It's just that's the way it should be.
Right.
You have to remain humble. This is not you're a public servant in my field. You're not you're not going to be a billionaire in what I do. You simply are a public servant that is there to help the public in a very important process.
It's interesting how the things that you said, it resonated with me, because I actually think and say the same exact thing, but I'm in a different field than you are. It's what I'm trying to put it together to process this now, because I'm like, wow, I can't believe that you said that, how you're a servant and how you serve and you listen. Earlier, I know you are over 42 people, and you said you listen. I feel the same way even about my company. I'm there to serve the people, and I'm not trying to build a shrine to myself. I only want to help. And how can I help the people? I'm trying to reach them and provide an avenue for them. My question is, as a leader, and I know one of them is just listening and the ability to be present to give them the best advice. What are the top three, or what other two things would you say to make an effective leader?
Oh, yes. Everyone has to understand, the leader has to help the team understand the ultimate goal. What's the goal? Who are our true stakeholders? And that's our focus. If we have a process that's going to, give us more work, it doesn't matter if it's a good process. We don't think of shortchanging, the voters at all. We have, for example, same-day registration. It's a tremendous feat, and there's a lot of work after the election to ensure the reconciliation process is done properly. It's a lot of work, but thousands of voters are able to vote and are not disenfranchised. That is truly fine with us, even if we have to work harder. So that's the goal that we share. We don't think of changing processes to make it easier on us. It's for the voter. And do we look for practicality? Absolutely. Do we look for ways to save money? Absolutely, because we understand, also we are using taxpayer dollars. So that's part of the mission as well. You have to think of that every single step of the way. We have a budget, and you don't use more than what you're given, and hopefully come under budget at the end of the year. So everyone has to share those pieces. There's not just one phrase you give them. There's several pieces to the puzzle, and that's the ultimate goal.
To know the goal. If you know the goal, you can dictate and tell them what you want them to do.
And their thought processes, you can't be there every day with them. So their thought process, as they determine their everyday duties and complete their everyday duties, has to also equal what the overall goal means. So, okay, you're going to look for a new software plan. Is it, within budget? is it better for the voters? Is it better for the process? Their thought process has to be similar to what I would and how I would look at things.
And so do you create the goal?
We've this goal has been actually since
place.
1998. It's just more now that we have 1.3 million voters that we have to keep reminding folks, because it is overwhelming now that we have so many voters that we want to, attend to during election time, and we have to attend to during election time. And so there could be no burnout. We have to reset every single phone call, every single in-person conversation at the polls, at the office. So the goal is definitely a bit more challenging, and things could be forgotten easier when you have a lot of exhausted team members that just want to get through the day. So you have to be continuously reminding and being part of it too. I just don't sit in a desk and make decisions. I am there with them. I am rolling up my sleeves along with them.
Okay. That's great. And you're actually teaching me a lot. I'm learning, and because I'm realizing that a lot of the issues I'm having in my business is I know what I want, the goal, but you didn't write the plan. And it's a common thing that keeps coming back. What's the plan? I want to be like this. What's the plan? You tell me what you need me to do. I need you to help me to do. What's the plan?
And why?
That's so important.
And why? It's always, so we always say, okay, you know how to do the job, but this is why it's so important. From every level, not just my level. It can be entry level. Their job is just as important. And we tell them why. Not just how to do things. We tell them why. It's not just a job. It's a process that we're protecting it for the voters, for Clark County, for the state of Nevada. It's bigger than us.
Right. And every action has a reaction. This is why, because if you do this, this is the result.
We do not want to disenfranchise any voters. We don't want those typos happening. We don't want, folks going to the polls and say, hey, why am I not there? I was registered to vote. We want a clean and seamless process. So it starts from every level.
How do you go about picking? Well, you have your team in place, but even picking voters to come and help seasonally. How do you weed out the process to make sure that you get the people that can kind of operate in the way that you want them to or need them to?
So many of them are returnees. We have a lot of them coming back 10, even 20 years, some of them. They love the process just as much as we do. And a lot of them are the team leads, but a lot of them are poll workers that come back for early voting and election day. We have a wonderful program that allows many of our county employees to help with the process on election day and be team leaders. That is extremely helpful. It's a little over 400 that helps us out. It's just so important, that goal. So these folks you bring in temporarily, they see it as, okay, I'll be here 2 weeks and I'll leave. So that's where it's so important. Yes, you're here 2 weeks, but you could make a huge dent in the process and jeopardize the election if it's not done right.
Oh, wow.
We emphasize the fact that they're important because they truly are. We couldn't do it without them. Just like we couldn't do it without management. We couldn't do it without community leaders. You, for example, getting the word out there to make sure, the community knows what they need to do. We definitely value every person, every group that helps us and collaborates with us.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yes.
I know your time is valuable, so we're going to wrap up. Is there anything else you want to say to the people, or you want to give them? You have the websites where they can contact
absolutely.
And social media. And
any questions, yes.
And you can just say that and we'll put that up, the wording up.
If anybody has any questions, any doubts, or just wants to make sure that they're registered to vote, just give us a call at 702-455-VOTE. That's 702-455-8683. We also have our website that has a wealth of knowledge. It's www.clarkcountynv.gov /vote. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
doing the show.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Likewise, it's just nothing but love. We give you
thank
so
you.
much love,
Thank
and
you.
I thank you for just your time and sharing everything with the world.
We're
this
here
is gonna
for
run.
the community. We definitely want to hear from them if they have any questions. We want them to feel comfortable. We have staff, always there. We are Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5:30. That's important because a lot of folks try to reach out to us on a Friday, but the county has now gone to 4 days, 10 hours a day. And during election cycle, we're there every single day. But regular hours is what we like to make sure folks know that we're there Monday through Thursday.
And the voting starts in the hiring for the seasonal employees. That's when, like October, or is that next year?
So for poll workers, they are, if folks are interested in being poll workers, they can start calling us now at the vote line or at 702-455-2815.
So you need to start hiring now.
Yes, we need to start hiring now. End of July, we will begin the hiring process, and every month we'll have more and more folks coming to help us leading up to the election.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yes,
So
thank
now,
you.
if you want to vote, if you want to help be a poll worker,
Yes.
you know where to go and contact.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank
And
you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much again
Oh,
for
John.
coming to Words Matter. Everybody, please, and I don't want to mess this up again. Hold on. The last name is Portillo.
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 Almost.
Portillo. Oh, we're going to edit that out, obviously. I'm human. Portillo.
Very good.
Yes.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, thank you for watching. Please go out and support, register to vote, and don't forget that your vote matters. So please welcome and look for and go and support Miss Lorena
Portillo.
Portillo, and congratulations
Thank you.
on the new position.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We love you. My wife loves you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in again and watching another episode of Words Matter with John Maurice. I'm your host, John Maurice. And stay tuned next time. Love always. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Words Matter with John Maurice.